What's up, everybody? How you folks doing? Thanks for hanging out with me here. It's Saturday, March 8th, 2025. It's a fine day. It's a fine time for us to spend a little time together, talk about crypto, see what's going on. Folks who've been waiting, thank you for being patient. I am definitely running a little bit behind today, but I was able to make it here today. I'm happy that we're able to do this stream together. This is part of the quick market update series on my YouTube, Cheds Trading. I teach professional TA, Japanese candlestick theory, and classical charting. I try to take the professional, the complex, the academic, and I try to distill it. I try to make it a little bit more simple and easy to digest. Check out all my great stuff, all my learning material available for you. I've published 3 books, and they're mostly free on my YouTube in one form or another. And my 4th book is coming out pretty soon, The Trading Journal. Keep an eye out for that. This stuff's all on Amazon. So if you're looking for full market updates, I do that on Bitcoin Live twice a week, every Wednesday and every Sunday night. So folks, how you doing? Thanks for hanging out here. I don't have much of an agenda. I don't know how long we'll go. It's going to be kind of however long you folks want to go, and what questions you have. So let me know if you can hear me. Let me know where you are in the world. Maybe try to come up with a good trading question. Maybe we'll look at a chart or 2 or 3 here, and we'll try to add some value. But just, thanks for hanging out with me here, and thank you for stopping by. So, just give me some thoughts in the chat room and let me know what you think. So, I mean, the deal on Bitcoin, and I talked a lot really yesterday, and my views are still very much, nothing's changed, obviously, but I'm viewing this as kind of underside action, where we had our well-defined range. We've broken down, and we're testing the bottom, whether you define the bottom here, or here. It's still generally a price zone. It still generally looks like an underside test to me, and it's a little bit of a muddled technical picture with the price still holding a rising, daily MA200, weekly MA200, but representing, I think, a significant range breakdown. Chopping around here above and below 90K, kind of news sensitive, if you will. Beautiful move off of a strategic reserve and kind of giving that move back and consolidating here, very much kind of in this pocket of consolidation where there's not much, this little empty pocket in between the prior range peak and the bottom of the next range. So even though it's at the 200 and it's a rising trend and we get that, it still kind of looks like it. You can see it here in the weekly. It does look like it's rolling over a little bit. And I think it would be fine. It would be healthy in the long term to test the peak of the prior range. Ideally, you would hold there, because failure to hold, you kind of open up the entire range. If you don't hold the top, you can drop into the range. And if you're in the range, you can test the bottom, all that stuff. So, I went into it a little bit more in depth yesterday on that stuff. You can kind of review that. I've seen a lot of Ethereum in the timeline today. I haven't really been in front of the computer, but people are talking Ethereum a lot. And I mean, is this that meme? Is this what's exciting? Kind of a light volume, candle, minor gain, EMA 8. It's bearish. Local momentum's bearish. High time frame is okay, but we're dipping below the rising 200. I think it's still very much an asymmetric above or below 2100. That's pretty much the same picture as last time. Taking a look at Solana, it looks to me like it may be beginning this falling channel here. Failure to hold at 215, failure to hold at 165, and then after it kind of had this really nice recapture with that strategic news bounce, couldn't hold it. So that's not so good. That is not good at all. I understand there is some demand here at the bottom of the range, and until that support breaks, that's fine if you want to play that level as well. But we're seeing, a slowing down of the trend and a weakening of the trend on higher time frame vis-a-vis the loss of the rising MA50 in the weekly. So that's all basically the same stuff. I'm not breaking any new ground, but I figured I would just do a quick run through. Folks, great to have you all here. 115, 120 of you folks. Think of some good questions while you're hearing me talk. I'm going to read the chat room questions, but try to think of something good while you've got me here. And I mean, I'll do my best. I don't know if I'm going to get it right, but I'll definitely try my best. So, Martwan, Caleb, Andrew, Indy, good to see Jake, and good to see all you folks again. Nice to see Nice to see you folks coming. So what's up, Cliff, as well? Let's see what jumps out here. Let's see what jumps out here. So, let's see. Nakamura says, looks like we can draw some sort of flag on the daily. So I assume you're talking about Bitcoin. Okay. So we can do a flag on the daily starting on the 24th of February till now. 24th. A flag? You mean like a bear flag? I don't know what you mean. Can you give me, what do you mean, Nakamura? I don't know what you mean. I don't really see a flag. So I don't know what you mean. Starting from here? Doesn't even really look like a bear flag. I mean, it doesn't necessarily even need to get like a pattern. Like if anything, it would be a bear pennant, but just kind of a, tightening range after a move down. But I don't think you need to really name it. I don't think every kind of consolidation needs a name or a pattern, but I'm not sure if I'm really either reading your question right or understanding what you means. But let's see here. So please take a look at Ethereum and Sol. I did that. Legends. I got that for you, brother. Foot bag. My contacts are acting up, so I can't even read the screen. Cheds, would like to see a little look into Sonic and Algo? I haven't heard of Sonic. Is that like a widely traded coin? Can you Sonic? Yeah, I don't see it like on anywhere major, so I'm not going to pull up that one. But we will take a look at Algo. That will be not a problem. I have Algo here. I mean, it is kind of, for me, last-ditch support, 22 cents. Really want to see that hold. Would have ideally liked to see it hold around 28 or 29, after breaking, the March peak. But I have been watching this level, and the price is pushing down towards it. Will it hold here? Will it hold here? I don't know. I don't know for sure. I don't really have a strong feel on it, but I would guess no. I would guess that it probably will not hold here. There's a decent amount of bear momentum, and you see the series of underside tests upon the failed level, 32, 33 cents. So I kind of see bear momentum here, and I actually probably see Algo dropping lower, into that 17 to 18 cents range. Most likely. That would be my best guess. And it's a guess. The best I got. M. Gross, so we looked at Bitcoin. He said, based on price action, do you think a swift drop to 74K is more likely? Well, I mean, first of all, I don't know that. I mean, I think it's more likely we get there, but now we're talking about handicapping how it's going to get there. So we have to first establish if it's going there. And you say, I don't know for sure, but momentum is pushing at it that way. Here's the thing. I don't know that you can't really anticipate when volatility will come, absent things like a Bollinger Band squeeze. But like Bollingers can get tight and stay tight for days. You never really know when volatility is going to come. So all you can do is really be ready for it. But I don't know. It's an interesting question, M. Gross. But it's hard to anticipate. I think probably, if I'm going to guess, it would be a slow bleed towards the level, and which is unfortunate. You'd want a quick drop. If you expect a price level to hold, you really want a quick drop into it because you get a short-term overreaction, a dip beneath the bands, and an overreaction by the counter trend force. And then it gives you more likely chance to hold there, especially if we're talking about a throwback, and then continue with the broader trend. What is up, Cheds? Thanks for the help. You're welcome. Thank you for saying that. And thanks for hanging out, Crypto Hitman. Folks, hit like, hit subscribe. Tell your friends. Just hang out, just showing up, adding to the numbers. It's great to have you here. I try to do as much free stuff as possible. I've got my books. I make the books free. I do have Bitcoin Live if you're looking for more. But in addition, I really just try to put out a ton of free stuff. Andrew says, do a wild guess. What's the next large time frame bear market bottom? Last time you've been quite accurate with the 12K. Here's the problem. I don't know for sure we've topped out. I mean, you probably have a local top here. This is a pretty good guess. When I called, basically when I made my famous or infamous or whatever call, I said we're going to go 12 to 100K, and we were right here, right around 40K. There were some real big warning signs, with the weekly MA50 rolling over. And I've talked about this like a million times before. So, if you've listened to me, you know this is a key pivot, and I think I've talked about it in the Masterclass. I will in the next one. When price had the failed breakout over 46K, go look at my tweet coverage at this time. After it failed to hold on this attempted breakout, I was like, folks, this is really bad. It actually really should have held here, and the fact that it didn't, especially after that major range breakdown. And here we're losing we're starting to lose the weekly 50. And this is what I talked about with Solana, the suggestion of the weakening trend. But after the failed breakout, I got really worried about the trend. And I basically said, look, it looks to me like we're probably going to test 30K, but I don't think it will hold just because of the broader momentum. And I was just dropping down. I said, okay, 20K makes sense, but what makes sense to me would be a panic dip below 20K and a test of this level. We actually really only got to about halfway, as you can see. We're not half, we got decently 15.5. But that was my thesis, and that's why I made this call here that we were going to generally do that. It meant almost all the way there. It didn't do the whole thing. I can't anticipate here. I know people have asked me that. Cheds, where's the next, big bottom? You made a great call. I don't know. I'm not sure. How can you not be sure? But I mean, I don't know if you would just want to draw a line like, 30K or something. But look, you still have to give a certain amount of deference to the trend. Rising 200 weekly, rising 200 daily. I don't know that you can really start to look that far below yet. It's a different situation for the price for Bitcoin. Bitcoin's not even below the weekly MA50 at this point, right? Who asked? Andrew. It's not even below the weekly MA50. So I still feel like it's premature to make that type of a call. Should we test 72, 74K, and then should we fail to hold there, then maybe I'll start to look around and take a sniff and get a sense here, right? Because now we'd be losing the 50. Things may be potentially rolling over. Maybe we'd see some type of action like that. But it's not the same situation as it was here. The price gave me a lot of information that allowed me to make these calls. And I try to be good and accurate, and I try not to be sensational. And but when the price was jumping out and screaming at me here, I had to say something. I don't quite have that read or that feel yet. I did say risk off below 90K. It's worked out okay. It has been chopping through, but I was very clear with the shields up call, on loss of 90K, really the bottom of this range, that it looks to be testing lower. So I think it's prudent to be cautious here, but I don't know that we need to start to look for the analog to the 12K call just yet, if that makes sense. All right. Hey, Peter. Thanks, man. Hey, Peter keeps plugging my books. Thanks, man. He says, read Ched's books. Great way to improve your yeah, you can read them or just check them out for free. Battles with Cancer is free. My Trading Wisdom, the first third of the book is free. And I just started doing this version of the third book. I'm going to do the entire book for free. I only have like 4 chapters so far. I try to put a lot of good energy and mojo into these, so I can't just like rip them out one after another. I'll try to do like one a week-ish, but this is timeless content, so I want to be in a really good mood and have a good voice. It's important to me. So be patient. I'll put that out. So yeah, read my books, but I also try to make them free. So I'm not just plugging my books here. But thanks again, Peter. I'm reading your comments. Arrow, Crypto Hitman, Arrow, sure. That one's on Coinbase, right? I believe Arrow USD is on Coinbase. Yeah, let's take a look at that one. One of the Bitcoin, not good. Not good. Oof. Yeah, it's a bad chart. I would avoid this chart. I will say it's like one of those ones where I would say like delete it from the watch list. But then you can just set an alert like on TradingView or something else. If this breaks back up above maybe 75 cents, then you can take a look at it. But it's safe to completely ignore it until that happens. And this is the 2-level filter, right? I think I promised someone on Twitter I would talk about this, where you have a downtrend, okay? And it's a falling trend of more anxious and more aggressive sellers. And first of all, you don't need to get worried about where you draw the line. Like, do I use this wick, this body? Actually, none of that matters because it's just a trend of price. And so when you've identified a trend of price, and maybe we'll look at this on Bitcoin because we've got definitely has one of those trends in play. What's important is to wait for the horizontal break to go with that. So you can't just take a long on a break of a diagonal because otherwise you'll ride it all the way down. What you really want to do, right, is set some type of a lost support that ideally has been confirmed as resistance with a failed, bounce here, right? I'll show you what I mean if I haven't already. There's that. There's like the lost support. So that's your level. That's your 2-level filter. I talk about this in pretty much all my work. And this is one of the, the setups I describe in the trading journal. you take a long here on a break. So you can wait till 75 cents. But this is just a bad chart. There's nothing really that redeeming about it. And hopefully you're not just holding this, and hopefully you're not just riding it down, because you have to respect your risk management, right? You don't just hold these things, all the way down. You're welcome, M. Gross. McCoy, sub $9 INJ, maybe. I mean, I've been loud and clear on, hands off in this one since it broke 31, and since 11, yikes. And then right here, it's kind of, remember that 46K Bitcoin I was just showing you? It's kind of like that, where you have a failed attempt to rejoin the trend, a failed attempt to break, or really to hold broken resistance, right? This upthrust. And so once that happened, and I was loud and clear Bitcoin Live, and every time I've been talking about it, it's like, this thing looks bad. There's a big blow to momentum, and it's completely unwinded. I think it makes sense to see it around $9. What did you say, 7 in your question? Oh, sub $9 this summer. It's too hard. I think it's too far to anticipate out, but I think that's a reasonable guess given the momentum. And you've got some time. You've got some time to reach that target summer. That'd be a couple months out, and you're almost there. Really almost there anyway. You can see kind of leg down, consolidate. You kind of see what it's done here. Leg down, consolidation, leg down, maybe consolidation, then maybe like another leg down to get your, whatever your target you're looking for. So momentum is definitely pushing it in that direction. It's a really, really bad chart. And it just shows you to be disciplined and just like, don't be stubborn. Even if you think INJ has like good technology, like, I don't know what that means. To me, technology, none of these things are serious things, but you really have to pay attention here when the price does something like this. Okay. So that's my thought. Sonic is the new name for FTM. Okay. Oh, but here's the problem. Does it have a chart yet? I mean, I think I can still just pull up FTM, right? It's still got Phantom, right? As long as I'm still getting price here. I mean, I'll just do this, because this is probably, as long as this is right. Is this the right price? It's just a bad chart. I mean, same deal here. I mean, there's no trend, which makes it bad to me. I'm a trader. I want a trend. Again, right? If you're looking to go long, you want to dip in an uptrend. If you're looking to go short, you need a bounce in a downtrend, right? And this had the failed breakout, and it's just not a lot of mojo here. No reason it can't continue to roll over and test like 40, 33. Let me roll around the chat room. I want to see if some good questions. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Well, I'm missing stuff, of course, because there's a lot of questions and it's just me. But let me just kind of take a little peek around. All right. Okay, this is a good question. So Jay says, I've been bearish Bitcoin since the loss in 90K range low. With 90K getting chopped through, what could you use to determine a change in bearish bias? It's a pretty good question. Yeah, let's zoom in on that. And this is kind of a thing where you have to a little bit differentiate between a trade thesis and an overall trend markup, in that, like, it's clearly rolling over a little bit and you clearly have underside action. I mean, so you just, set that aside, drop to like a 4-hour, and do we have any kind of structure we can work with? Clearly, there is a tightening range expressed here, okay? You don't have to draw it. You don't need to get hung up. I tweeted this out, and some guys like, well, if you adjust the line, it's still holding it. But it's not about the line. It's just there's a trend of price. It doesn't matter how you draw the line, as long as you just visualize, you can just see a trend, and you're not taking a trade anyway in a diagonal. So you've got a tightening range expressed, and I think there is a pretty reasonable overhead level right around 94.5. So to answer your question, with using 90K level, which I think was prudent, as to be risk off, and now we had the announcement bump, retrace, retrace, and then bounce, setting higher low, and then here setting lower high. So we have our tightening range, chopping through the aforementioned trigger level 90K. What can you do to maybe shift away from a bear bias? It's just simple. Lost support recaptured. And here you have the price elucidating in a reasonable manner. Lost support, tried to bounce, rejected. So it's kind of one of those things where, sure, you could, in a tightening range, right? You could use either like a lower high or a higher low or a lower high break, but I wouldn't do that with the level just above. What I mean by that is that you could say, okay, well, I've marked my tightening range, kind of like a double inside bar, and you could take a long in the first inside bar. You could go, sure, you take a break here, but the problem is the resistance is just above. So you kind of shift back to the closest major level that makes sense, such that you're being reasonable and prudent, with your trade setup. So I'd say, to answer your question in a little bit of a roundabout way, it would be 94.5K. So hopefully that was helpful. Stay away from alts outside of the top 10, says Bitcoin Rabbit Hole. I kind of agree with that. And, Bitcoin Live, that's always been my approach for my videos. Some of you are members, I'm sure. Most of you are probably not. And what I always do is I go through like the, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then recently I've started doing Solana at the top. And then I do like the top 10 or 15 best altcoins, meaning like the strongest charts like that are at top exchanges. So sure, there's always like really good stuff that's brand new and it's amazing. To me, there's no TA. You can't TA something so new. But what I try to do is just follow and build muscle memory. And that's mostly what I trade from, is basically the best altcoins. And absolutely, top 10 is a great call, maybe top 15. And the point is, a couple points here, is that you want to have a curated list, your watch list. You're trading only from your watch list. You're not bouncing around when someone else tweets something out. You're trading from your watch list, and you know these charts. You have a good muscle memory. You built up muscle memory. You understand the price levels. So when volatility hits, you can go to work, and you know what to do. So just trade from the strongest coins. In my opinion, and this is my style, don't think about technology or anything like that. Just focus on price levels and do yourself a favor, and I think it'll work out a little bit better. Martwan, do you think countries really going to accumulate Bitcoin? So caveat, I'm just a terrible fundamental analyst. It's not what I do. I've studied TA professionally, and that's why I teach it professionally and pretty much for free, because I want to continue to get better by teaching. I don't know anything about fundamental analysis. I mean, I've got like my own instinct about things, but I didn't go to school for that. I certainly didn't study economics. And many of you saw how poorly I guessed with the last election, right? So I really have no idea. I'll be honest, I'm a terrible fundamental analyst. But it does seem like countries are starting to accumulate Bitcoin. I think it's one of those things where it's getting to be cool. I saw an interesting tweet, actually. I don't know if I can find it, but it was where someone said, like, in one of the oldest Bitcoin forums, they said, like, when countries start to buy Bitcoin, you want to sell. And that's interesting, because initially we wanted, governments to stay out of our business. And now it's like Bitcoin's like the next big thing, So we shall see. I do think there will be some accumulation by some countries of Bitcoin, and I think that's good. I think it should be. It's a scarce asset. And again, I'm not a fundamental analyst, but absolutely, they should be. And for me, it will definitely. I still think it will trend up over time, of course, and we'll have these dips and valleys and volatility. I just want some action to trade. I'll keep trading as long as there's action and there's volatility, and that's all I really need, and that's all I really look for. So. Let's see. Caleb. Oh, hey, Caleb. And I think you asked me this question in the past, and I only saw it after the video and I missed it. You're asking, trading question, is Elliott wave theory viable, and what's your opinion on it? It's certainly viable. One of my colleagues, especially Dean See the Light, is like super amazing with Elliott Wave, and I see him talk about it. And I know Blunt's smart contractor uses it a lot. I think Bob does, but he's more cycle theory. I don't think Peter, Axel's like CMT, and that's kind of what I lean towards. Of course, with candlestick theory. Mark, maybe. I think Mark does do some Elliott Wave theory. I do not. I did, of course, have to study. I, of course, had to study Elliott Wave just to do CMT level 1, but I don't practice it. So it's gone in one ear, out the other, right? You know how it is, you study for a test. And just philosophically, it's not my style, because a lot of what Elliott Wave theory is, or from what I read it to be, it's kind of predicting the future, because this is wave 3 and now this wave 4 means wave 5, or it's a leading diagonal. For me, I've learned to be just so disciplined to I just don't think you can predict out more than a couple days, and nor should you try to. All you can really look at is momentum and put that momentum into broader context. Clearly, it can be viable because there are some excellent traders, way better than me, who use it. Okay, but I don't teach that. I teach what I know: classical charting, horizontal levels, simple setup, respecting the price, candlestick theory, candle body progression, momentum, where the candlestick signal comes, and marrying those things and sentiment and all that. That's my style, and you can see it in the Masterclass webinar. I lay it all out. Watch these for sure. But I don't use Elliott waves. I don't think I ever will. I'm pretty sure I will not become an Elliott wave trader. But I think you should try it for sure. And see if you like it. I mean, that's all I would really have to say about that. And I know you've asked this in the past. I'm sorry I didn't get that. So this is a great question. Jason Bishop, why is MA200 more important than lack of history? Why such strong bounces? I'm not sure. More important than what? I will say, and I'll read the comments, folks. It's just me, trying to catch up. I will say, basically in classical charting, the trend is the MA200, right? So we have a 200. There's the blue line. Here, I'll show you what my, and you can see this in the Masterclass webinar. You can see what I'm using. The 200 simple means equally weighted. All 200 candles equally weighted. The 50 equally weighted. The 20 equally weighted, which is the middle Bollinger Band, happens to be the SMA, or simple moving average 20. And then the 8 and the 34 exponential. I use those for crossing and primary uptrend, secondary uptrend support, yada, yada, yada. The trend is the MA200. So when you look at a chart, price above a rising 200 is an uptrend. Period. That's it. Price below a rising uptrend is an unconfirmed uptrend. Okay. On the other side of the coin, price below, I just flipped Bitcoin upside down, price below a falling MA200 would be a confirmed downtrend, right? And then price above a falling 200 would be unconfirmed. So that's the trend, and you want to orient yourself in that way. So you want to not only look at price versus the trend, and I do this within the first second or two of the chart. Not only you're looking at price versus the trend, you're looking at price versus prior range highs in the broader structure. So this is when I see a lot of people posting these charts, there's no context. You have to zoom out, and get a sense of the broader momentum and where the price is in relation to prior structure. Is it stair-stepping? Is this all just a lower high? You have to get a sense of the trend within the trend, right? So why is that? So I don't know if I understand the question completely when you ask, why is that more important than lack of history? With lack of history, you can't use TA. There's no TA. There's no history. It's really hard to trade. From here, if there's a blue sky breakout, you can't really do too much TA on it. There's no history there. There's nothing to look back on, right? So without TA, you can't really do much. That's why you need to have history. You can examine how the price got there, the muscle memory, of the markets, where they bought and sold, where support lays, where the price is, establishing demand and all that. So hopefully that somewhat answers your question. Let's wrap it up a little bit more. I love these questions. Lucian says, been watching you for a while, sir. Also, your book was great to listen to on Audible. Thank you. Appreciate you. I assume you mean Trading Wisdom, but all three of my books are on Audible, and Trading Journal will be on Audible. I recorded those all myself. This soothing voice, right? I'm just kidding. Let's see. Love your information. Thank you. Maybe we'll read one more, but let me just kind of zoom around here. Because we're getting up to 30 minutes. This is a great room. Folks, thanks for hanging out with me on a Saturday. I know most of you are busy in the weekend. I'm observing a near double top neckline break. But what are we talking about? Is that the chart near Seb Smith or Bitcoin? Do you concur with that loss key support as a short setup? Well, I don't know what chart you're talking about, first of all. But I will just say, generally speaking, what is a double top? All right? A double top was in the price. It has to come. A double top has to come after a move up, first of all, right? You have to have a move up. Let's say it's here. It breaks out, okay? Comes up. It sets one high. It comes down. It sets a low. That's called a trough. Sets another high. That's called a peak. Comes down. Called a trough. Now, when you're up to this point and people say, hey, it's a double top. No, it's just a double test. It's testing resistance. Much of the time, what will happen is you will, in fact, continue and you'll do something like an ascending triangle, right? Where you'll come and not even test the trough or the low, but you just do like an ascending triangle with more aggressive buyers. So in any case, move up, peak, trough, peak, trough. Classical charting, you need a couple things here. You need time interval in between these attempts. It can't just be something like this. Move up, double top. No, this is just one try. That's just one move, one attempt. You want time interval in between the attempts, and then the next thing you need is what's called price distance. Peak to trough. Price distance. This will be a well-formed double top. And when is it a double top? When the neckline or the trough breaks. And what's your measured move? Height from the peak to the trough. It's your measured move of the double top. You always want to take into account, is there other price structure in the way such that you may not reach your measured move? All this stuff explained in the Masterclass tutorials. This is part of the Quick Market Update series on YouTube. I teach professional TA. I try to take the academic, the complicated. I try to make it fun. I try to make it a little bit easier for you to understand. Watch the Masterclass tutorial playlist. I published 3 books. 4th book is coming really soon. This is a mock-up for the cover. The Trading Journal. Why you should use a trading journal. How to fill it out. Trading setup ideas. How those setup ideas fail. Good trader habits. Emotional management. It is Trading Wisdom Part 2. My very popular book. My books are mostly free here on YouTube. They're available on Amazon. If you're looking, today was just a very quick, very brief update here on the market. If you're looking for more in-depth reports, twice a week at Bitcoin Live, every Wednesday, Sunday night. I look at the whole market, and you get to see everyone else's stuff. You sign up once, you could watch 7 years of videos from me here in Bitcoin Live. To see how I've done. Go check out how I've done it at major moments on Bitcoin Live. So check that out. So anyway, thank you, folks. It's Saturday. There are many, many great folks here in the chat room. I'm sorry if I didn't read your question. I'm sorry if I didn't get to your question. I could keep going, but I like to wrap it up around 30 minutes of just hanging out here with you folks. So says, yeah, Trading Wisdom is amazing and audible. Thank you. Folks, thank you so much. Warm, heartfelt thank you. Take care of yourself. Be kind to others, and we'll be back soon. I do these 3 days a week, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday. So I'll see you folks on Tuesday. How about that? All right. I will talk to you soon. Big Cheds out. Let's get that Church of 8 Wheels going. Peace out, folks. Thank you so much.